Hello and welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're going to talk about which squads you should farm first. And I know I just put out a video last week about squads everyone should be working on right now, and this doesn't really negate that or anything. I wanted to dive into the idea of what things we should be like really looking at for the future and prioritizing, because there's a lot to farm and we can't afford everything. Well, I mean, some people can, and like my main account, I'll be able to get everything eventually, but like for instance my alternate account, which is mostly free to play, which things should I prioritize and which things could we kind of just let go and not have to worry about? So I want to talk about those things. It's going to be fun, guys, and if you have fun, please, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, comment, all the things that help you mount the algorithm. All you've got to do is just try it once, just for a second, just for a minute, just for an hour. It's going to be great. You won't be able to stop ever. Maybe you don't want to do that, actually. Now that I say that, it sounds a little creepy. So the things we're going to be taking into consideration here, folks, the bigger picture things are going to be the crate raid, the territory battle stuff, and then PvP in general. So for the crate raid, we're told that we only have 5 different types of squads we can use. I'm not sure if they said we only have 5 attempts that we can do, so maybe we could split like our Mandalorians into 5 attempts or whatever. But I mean, the importance of this is pretty apparent. Like, it's the new hotness. It's the thing that like no one's really been paying much attention to lately. Like, trying to do some raids and everything, that's fine, but for the most part, people are just ignoring this aspect of the game. And I for one, don't really love the idea of spending a ton of extra time doing raids, but I can't deny their importance. And so, we want to look at these squads and say, like, which ones should we prioritize for the crate raid? And I mean, it's going to have all the latest, hottest gear and resources, right? So it's probably going to have things for whatever modding stuff they have recently. I mean, if it's just the attenuators, or maybe they'll be doing 7 dot mods or something. Not to scare you, but that might happen at some point, and the raid might be a way they introduce it to the game. Similarly, your guild just might need help to be able to complete this. If you can't do it, like, if your guild can't do it, then you might not be able to. Some people are speculating that, hey, you're still going to get rewards even if your guild sucks at it, and that's great. But first off, if your guild isn't going to participate in it, if they're not going to select it, then that's going to be an issue for you, and you might want to put that as a lesser priority given all the other things we're talking about. But then also, some people are saying, like, well, you don't need your guild to finish it. You're still going to just get all of your rewards anyways. And I don't know. I just think that they've talked about the raid, about other future raids where you have to get through several phases. And if you have to get through several phases, that implies that your guild has to actually beat the raid, has to get a certain damage amount in order for you to get the rewards, or at least the guild half of the rewards. So, as opposed to if you just sign up and some people do a little bit of damage and stuff, everyone just like gets the full rewards. I don't think that that's how it's going to be. I think your guild has to get to a certain threshold of damage, and you might really need to be able to help them. Also, I really think that Relic 10 might be around the corner. I know that's a swear word for some people, and I'm not going to tell you whether I think it's great or not. Well, I'm going to say I'm not looking forward to it, but there's a lot to talk about for Relic 10, and I do think it's a realistic expectation that it's going to enter the game sometime this year, and I think that it might be early this year. I thought it was going to be last year, frankly, I mean, there are people who have well over 50 Relic 9s right now, and people want to start working on Relic 10s, and yeah, we need to be ready for that. And this is quote-unquote great way to introduce Relic 10 to all of us. Now, the territory battle is also something to be taking into consideration. So you need Jabba, you need Aphra, you need Inquisition, you need we're gonna be doing like the Relic 7 bonus node for Calcas pretty soon. We have the Wookiee node. One thing that I forgot to add to this, so I'll just add it real quick. We have Kira and her friends, her different smuggler friends in different missions for the special missions. And the reason this is all very important is just the fact that we're getting consistent resources. It's something that your guild can be consistently working on. It steals a lot of wonderful time. It's just if you want to kill a lot of your time and just not really have much of a life other than this game, like the territory battle is a great candidate for you to really focus on, really putting a lot of time and effort in. And then, I do think that it grows in importance because your rewards are escalating as your guild continues to progress. I mean, you get a lot of crystals for it, you get a lot of resources. I know that they're a little stingy on some of the resources that we need to get to Relic 8, to get to Relic 9, etc., but we are getting all of that stuff in more quantity now than we were before this raid, or this territory battle happened. Finally, we have PvP, and honestly, guys, you know that I'm a PvP guy. I love GAC, and I used to love Territory Wars. It's kind of diminished in my preferences, but I mean, that's probably the stuff I like the most. I do all the off-meta counters. I do all the GAC stuff like that. That's been this channel for a long time. But I'm just gonna say, even though we get half of our crystals here, we still get, or even if we don't put much effort in, we're still gonna end up getting a lot of crystals from this, because as long as you do put some effort in, if you fail a bunch of times, then you're going to get weaker opponents, then you're going to win a bunch of times without much effort, and you're going to get a similar amount of crystals. About half of our crystals come from GAC. At Territory Wars, we get droid brains. That's the latest, hottest stuff for Relic 9. I know a lot of people don't even consider Relic 9. Like my alt, I could apply, in theory, I think like 10 Relic 9s, but I don't want to farm that many of them. Like it costs, so it's so prohibitive on so many different levels. I don't want to do that, but that, in theory, Territory Wars is the only place we can get droid brains in any bigger quantity than just buying 5 at a time in the weekly store for crystals. However, I do think that Territory War, there's a lot of signs that Territory Wars might be updated soon. It might even just get scrapped entirely in favor of a new, cooler, in theory, I mean probably more time sync game mode. I don't really know. There's whispers of this. I can't really talk about it much more, but I think there's a decent likelihood that happens, even if it's just because Territory Wars is too clunky right now. The matchmaking stuff, everyone can just kind of put it on autopilot. CG wants us to put a lot of time into this game. It's an annoying factor, but they don't. A lot of guilds are just like, you know what? We'll try a little bit, and we'll at least win 1 out of every 3, because that's kind of the matchmaking system that we have right now. And I hate to say this, guys, I think that PvP right now, as of right this moment, is on the downtrend. Like, it's not as important as it used to be, and I don't like that personally. I know that some people love it, and we've just got to ride the wave. And so I think that these are all factors that we should take into consideration when we're thinking about all these different things. So first off, Trench, purely PvP for Territory Wars. Maybe he'll be good in GAC, who knows. Honestly, he's only one character. A lot of people are going to have his requirements or his team farmed already, like with Watt and Django and all of those. And honestly, I kind of just forgot to add him to the consideration list because he's only one character, and honestly, I haven't heard a lot of people say that he's going to be amazing. Or at least I've had some people say that, and some people say, I think he's going to be total crap. I don't think they're releasing characters from Conquest that are totally awful, but I will say, Scion of Django, the Boba Fett character, is not that interesting to me still. He still just doesn't do that many cool things. It's like you can use him in Territory Wars and he's a little bit better option, but you can usually just get by without him. Whatever he's helping you can counter just as fine without him. So For the most part, I don't really see Trench as much. Like, let's just wait and see. In a month, maybe he'll be amazing, and we'll have to reprioritize him. Now, in terms of main squads that we want to look at, Tuskens are one of them that we should be looking at. You can start working on 3 of them right now. In fact, 2 of them are already Galactic Legend requirements. You don't really need them for GAC or Territory Wars. Maybe at some point we'll need them to counter Droideka Omicron. I'm not sure about that. Like an entire squad geared up just to beat one other Omicron. Like it seems like a ruinous course of action, but we'll just have to see. PvE, however, raids, it's going to be super duper important, like we talked about before. They're going to be probably the best squad in the raid, if I had to guess. And so that's something we probably want to look at. However, I mean, territory battles and conquest, you don't really need them. And then for like all the other like galactic challenges, you probably need them for a while. For like conquest, well, I guess we'll need them a little bit. Like we'll need them for feats and everything. But overall, I think Tuskens are something we can kind of, I don't know, for raids, if you really care about the raid, which, I mean, a lot of people should care about it, I think that's definitely something we should prioritize. And, territory battles, we really don't need it. So, Aphra squad, I said recently we don't farm Aphra. And I think that's actually... I'm not saying don't ever work on Aphra. You only need 4 characters to unlock her. I mean, they cost a lot of gear, but it's not, they're all farmable now. You can work on them right now. You can work on them passively. The murder bots are great. Even if you don't want to get Aphra, you can get the murder bots and go with like Sortie. You can get Hondo is wonderful in a ton of different squads. Very, very strong character. And then Sana is okay. She's fine. She might end up being better and better. I don't know. She's to me, she's the most underwhelming character. I am not whelmed by Sana. And here's the thing, a lot of people are like, oh man, but Aphra kills Jabba off meta. Like even without the Omicron, or sorry, not Omicron, even without the Datacron that she has. And I'm just gonna say, I have not seen any convincing videos that make me think that she's going to be able to counter Jabba at all without her Datacron. I've looked for a long time. If you know of one, let me know. I'm willing to change my mind. I don't see a way. I've tried it a few times. Try your Aphra sometime, guys. Without her Datacron being awesome like it is, like it's overpowered right now. Once she loses it though in a month, she's not gonna be great in PvP. Now PvE, you don't need her for the raid. She won't even be allowed to be in the crate raid. The territory battle, she's required for a few different nodes, of course. So for bigger accounts, sure, absolutely work on her if you want. But remember, you unlock her at 5. You're gonna need to get her at like relic 8 to be able to, or at least at 7 to be able to access even just 2 of the nodes. So it's a pretty big investment. And then conquest, you really don't need her one way or another unless she's required for some kind of a feat. Now the Calcas journey is interesting because it's going to impact a lot of different squads here, folks, in a lot of different places. So first off, doesn't do anything for the raid as far as I know. However, he's going to be good for a lot of teams. You can see on the top kind of middle area that Calcas, like Junior, is going to be good. He's going to be there with Seer Junda. They're going to be on the same squad. Marin is going to be for Night Sisters. And then we have Tarfur, who's a Wookiee. We probably use him in the territory battle Wookiee squad is my guess. He's going to be a leader of Wookiees and we'll get a Wookiee tag. That's my prediction. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. And then maybe we'll get like Gungi as well, like the young Wookiee Jedi with the wood handle lightsaber somehow. And then we'll also get Saw Gerrera, who I think is going to help revitalize the Mothra team. Like we have Kyle Katarn, who did that for a while, and now it's kind of just losing momentum. And then I think So we're going to get a ton of different squads kind of revitalized, and a lot of these squads, we already have a lot of characters that we've worked on for them. And so, like Night Sisters, if you have a Night Sisters team, awesome, Marin is going to be a requirement anyways, and etc. And then they also just explicitly said, like, the new Calcas is going to be like the Survivor version. He's going to have 3 territory battle Omicrons, which is like, yikes. But maybe he'll be good at territory battles in ways that we like need Omicron, so I really hope not, but maybe. But then they also said that he's going to be on all like some of the really good Jedi meta builds, which, I mean, it's CG, so who knows if they know what they're talking about. But I don't really doubt that he's going to be very powerful in a lot of different game modes, and at least contribute to a lot of PvP aspects. And so this is the squad, guys, that I think that we should be saving resources for, be looking at. I know that you can't get this stuff right away. Like, we only have one character that's like not really farmable even. You can unlock him right now, and then you can work on getting him to gear 11, and that's it, basically. But this is something we all need to be looking at and looking to, because this is going to impact a lot of different squads and a lot of different aspects in the game. And as soon as we can get Cal Kestis, this is going to be a very, very important thing. I think that we should prioritize it over Aphra, to be honest. So first, I'm going to just say, if you don't have Jabba yet, get Jabba, guys. Very important. Very, very important on all aspects. You need him for the raid, you need him for the territory battle, you need him for PvP, all levels. You need him for the smuggler's run to get a crazy amount of resources every couple weeks. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Jabba, most important squad in the game right now. Inquisition, very important. You need them for PvP on both sides. You need them for territory battles as well. And you need them, like Conquest, it typically has used them a ton. Galactic Challenges, I'm guessing that we're going to need them less now that everyone has them, or a lot of people have them. But Grand Inquisitor is about to get into the Journey Guide in a few months. And once that happens, they're going to be much more accessible. So start working on Inquis. If you're new to this channel, that's the only excuse you have. I've been singing that song for like a year or something. And then I think Cal Kestis, guys. I mean, right now you can't do anything, but I think you should start planning on working on that squad. Really, really prioritizing it and looking at seeing how can I make sure that I have that squad in the next, 6 months or whatever it takes. It's going to be the new hotness, I think. I think it's going to revitalize a ton of things, has its tendrils in a lot of different places. Tuscans, I think, are going to be fairly important as well, just because that raid is going to have all the new awesome stuff, and we need that new awesome stuff. And on that note, I mean, I think that Mandalorians are going to be fairly important. We'll talk about that in the next slide. But then Aphra, I'm not saying don't work on her. All the characters that she needs to unlock her are pretty good. But she is also just not that relevant. She doesn't do much. She does a couple things for the new territory battle, and that's basically it in terms of stuff. Like the PvP impact, I don't know what she's gonna kill once she doesn't have her Kron, unless they give her another one, or maybe she'll be revitalized by a dark side tank droid, and then she'll be awesome again. I don't know. Maybe they'll change something, but right now she is just not that super important. All these other ones take priority. Now, you all have other projects to work on and everything, and I know you shouldn't just like drop every single thing and work on this list, but I mean, you should with Jabba. You should just absolutely drop everything and work on Jabba, but this other stuff fit into what makes sense for your roster too. I'm not, this isn't like, hey, it's a universal truth, everyone should be doing this stuff. But I mean, the Cal Kestis thing, I think, honestly, once they're farmable on the nodes, you should be farming them. I know that people don't like to farm until it's accelerated. I still think you should. Just slow farm them if you have to do if you don't want to do anything more, just slow farm them. It takes like 6 months, but that's fine. It's only a little bit of energy. You should be working on this squad. That's important, folks. For honorable mentions, I think Mandalorians, because the raid mentions that we can use them, they're going to be important. Plus Mando Season 3, where I'm guessing we'll get some cool material from them eventually. It might take a few months, or maybe a year, or 7, who knows. But we're probably going to get some Mando stuff. Jawas, just because of the crate raid, I don't know. You can work on them. don't hate me if you get Jawas to Relic 9 and then they suck for everything else. But if you want to work on something right now for the raid, just work on your Mandos, don't work on Jawas. And then Kira and Smugglers for the special missions. That it really adds up if your guild can do a lot of those different Kira missions with their various snuggler friends that can help. So anyways, folks, what do you think you should be working on right now? What's a squad that I missed? What's something that is important? I think that we need to be focused on these different game modes, and it's important to be looking at them. So that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails. I think this is the last slide.